My Uber and Lyft friends, my YouTube subscribers, one of my colleagues out there shared with me their log, how they lay it out, right? And this particular driver wishes to remain anonymous, which is cool. Totally deserve to remain anonymous. I do that sometimes. I just like the value of what he or she is bringing to the table. They drive in Tampa, so these numbers are from Tampa, all accumulated within the last few days. And what I wanted to share with you is the way this driver laid it out. The only request that I had was, please add to this the hours driven. And they did that for me. So we have an Uber breakdown here, which is very well laid out. And let me just say the background of this individual is accounting. They go into a lot of detail. They know how to create tables. By the way, if anyone wants to learn how to do tables like this, this is done in Excel. And you can go onto YouTube and learn, put in keywords, how to create formulas in Excel. So you get these business projections. I love doing that, right? So we have the date, what the rider paid, okay? For example, on the 1st of April, the rider paid $5.75 for the trip. The driver received $3.91. Obviously, the difference of $1.84 went to Uber. This is now reflected as a percentage. Uber's percentage taking 32%. And as you go through those days, the driver calculates it out based on these formulas that on that day, on April the 1st, that trip took 32%. On the 5th of April, there were several trips. The average was 37%, 40%, 45% that Uber took. The driver also lists on this side up here the tips, $2. And again, right at the bottom, lists the cash tips of that week as $15. And then the fares, including the in-app tips, as $200.88, bringing it to a total of $215.88. And the hours driven was 15.4 hours, earning an average of $14.02 per hour. Now, we haven't discussed the Lyft numbers. I will show that in a separate table right now. I just wanted to show you how thorough this driver works, laying it out for us. And this is a great template and a great example. I have my drivers, the drivers that I lease out vehicles, do something very similar. I set up the tables for them. They can plug in the numbers. I guess the one thing that I like most, which is a fantastic idea, is that this driver makes notes, right? The passenger waited 5 minutes, blah, blah, blah. The person talked about their business, blah, blah, blah. So you have a good idea of what happened in that car. So if anything ever goes wrong, you can refer back to that trip. Oh, that was a problem passenger, or that was an intoxicated passenger. In fact, this driver mentions that in one whole trip, the passenger had the need to talk about smoking weed, benefits, blah, blah, blah. So another passenger here, as you can see, on the 6th of April, talks about the 7-day cruise that they're about to go on, right? So I like this, keeping a log, short notes of that trip. I think it's really, really cool, especially if there are problems or repercussions down the line. You can always go back. You can use this as proof if you have to. I think this would have a lot of weight if you ever were in any type of mediation or in court. You showed them how precise, right? Again, this person's an accountant, how precise you were with collecting information, and they will put so much weight on this type of evidence. Now, let me go to the second part here, which is the Lyft log. As you can see, this driver did way more trips on Lyft, and the average worked out to about $13 an hour. And what's interesting, what I find very, very interesting, is that the Lyft percentage taken, if you look at their 41%, 32%, 47, 54, 54%, 20%, 30, it works out to exactly the same average. Listen to this, of 39%. That same number, that same average appears in Uber, right? So if you accumulate a lot of trips, guess what? The averages of Lyft and Uber, whatever their part they're taking out, is almost 40%. They're both identical at 39%. Again, this person smartly driving on Uber and Lyft makes notes of all of all the trips, right? For example, she'll say that the passenger Angelica picked her up after the shift at that company and drove them home, right? If anything happened along that trip, if there were any complications, obviously you can put that into the notes, right? Other passenger going to work. Then the one note, the driver puts in a cancellation fee for passenger who had 3- and 5-year-old children but no car seats. See? Documented right there. That's great proof. So if that person ever try to turn around and pull a fast one on you, you can say, hey, this is the reason why I canceled that trip on the 6th of April, right? Fantastic. Amazing, amazing, thorough work. I really appreciate this driver sharing this with me. I have learned a lot today, especially the part of incorporating the notes, and especially comparing the percentage taken by Uber and Lyft. I did not realize that it's almost identical, right? So what I'm going to implement for myself and for my drivers that I lease out cars to is this last column where I will tell them to take notes, and fairly thorough notes, in case something ever happens to them or to my business. We can go back to this evidence and say, hey, you know what? Hang on. It wasn't quite like that. Look at how thorough I am. I write down every single trip, right? So huge gratitude and appreciation for sharing this with all the drivers. I think you can all learn from this and do something same or similar, right, or even better. But go out and learn Excel, how to set up these tables. Go to YouTube and learn how to create formulas in Excel so that you can add up these columns, that you can work out average of percentages, etc. Just plug in the fares, it calculates the totals for you. See, this individual did $2, $2, and $5 tips on Lyft, the total being $9. There it is. This person accumulated $97 in Lyft fares for themselves. The riders were charged $145.93. Uber kept a pretty big chunk here, 39%, which equates to $56.95. Hours driven, 7 hours, 45 minutes, good average, over $13. Good average on the Uber side. So fantastic work. Thank you. You guys have a great day. Please feel free to share the video so that others learn from this. But again, recap, what I like most is that there are thorough notes that you can always fall back upon, and they might come in handy in a mediation or in a deactivation issue with Uber or Lyft, and you can show them, hey, I'm extremely thorough, right up to the point that I canceled this specific trip on the passenger because they wanted to put a 3 and a 5-year-old in my car with no car seats. So they canceled the trip. That's really, really smart thinking. Have a great day.